Good morning.
Hi, Kristen.
There's Deborah as well. Hi, ladies.
Yeah, I'm here.
There we go. It's one of those days for me. I woke up and I'm like, ah. So I'm so happy we have yoga because it can just clear my, So we're going to get started in just a moment. My jingler is all ready. So the grandfather clock will go off in just a moment. So why don't you get us started, my love?
Oh.
I love the end part. So with that, we're going to get started first in a standing position. So as I mute all of you lovelies, before we get a little grounded, let's find hips distance with our feet, our arms off into the T, into that Leonardo da Vinci beautiful stance, slight bend in the knees, and we'll just alternate touching our toes, just a basic posture. But what this does is it's getting some of the stagnant energy moving and working both sides of our brain. So we'll just alternate. Let's do it 6 more times. Bend those knees as much as you need to. And we have 3 more, 2 more. Beautiful. Last one here. Let's reach our arms up overhead and bring our prayer to our heart center and find our way into child's pose. From moving that energy to, more importantly, finding that groundedness position. So we settle into our hips, we spread our knees wide, extend those arms out in front of us, slight bend in those elbows, forehead to the floor. And let's just take these next initial moments to check in. So finding that breath. Quick body scan. Notice if there's any tender places in the body, aches, pains, euphoria. We just check that and check in. Noticing the emotional state, a dull mind, active mind, an indifference. And then let's draw our attention to just our emotional state. Checking in. We'll take another full breath here. Let's let that go completely. And we'll slowly transition onto our hands and knees. So pressing our shins into the floor, our hands directly underneath our shoulders. Let's just tap the tops of our feet awake. Then rooting through the shin, let's activate our spine. So we'll exhale the air out. Let the head be nice and loose as we tuck our tail under. We inhale, reach our heart forward, open up those collarbones. On the exhale, pull that navel in. Feel the toenails, the head's released. Sip in the breath. We'll exhale it out. Beautiful. A couple more here. Eyes soft or closed. Wringing out that sleep. Please take one more inhale. We'll let that go. We'll come back to neutral. Hug those knees in. Extend that right leg. And let's work on that balance. So we'll extend the left hand, thumb up towards the sky. Right foot is flexed, lifting at the height of the hips. Can you straighten through that elbow? Now we'll draw that elbow in towards our knee. And we extend. 4 more on this side. We're breathing and lengthening. Last 3. Gorgeous. We're bringing 2 more here. And this last one, let's hold elbow to knee. 5, 4, 3, 2, on 1. We lengthen and lower. Bump those hips side to side. We squeeze those knees together. Beautiful. We'll extend that left leg, flex the foot, lift the leg the height of our hips. Find that balance rooting through that right shin as we elevate that right thumb up towards the sky. Then we squeeze in. Beautiful. And we lengthen. 4 more. We extend. Last 3. Warming up the body here. Squeeze in for 2. And this last one, elbow to knee. Let's hold here, round that back body, let the head go. And we extend. Nice, and we'll lower it down. Bump those hips side to side. We'll tuck those toes under. Lift the sits bones. Keep your hands where they are. Just walk your feet towards the heel of your hands. And take the feet as wide as your mat. We bend those knees. And we'll interlace the hands behind the back body. So if this is challenging this morning, you can use a strap or we fake it till we make it. We find that halfway lift. Crown of the head towards the floor. We draw those hands away from the back body. So just alternate bending the knees, adding a little sway side to side. Shake out that head. And just feeling where those arms are behind you in space. Swallow a few times, spread the toes out. Then pause here, find some stillness in this posture. Now we'll take a deep bend in that right knee and draw your chin towards the shin. The hands are drawing away from the back body. The head is heavy. Yeah, nice. I see lots of white toes, Bill. So soften
My toes are white.
Soften through those toes. Then we take a nice deep bend in that left knee. Wiggle those toes. Notice if they're gripping. That slight bend in the left knee, your chin reaching towards that left shin. And we'll come back to center again. We'll find that halfway lift. Take the opposite thumb on top, that unnatural grip. Slight bend in those knees, and we'll draw those hands away as we pour that crown of our head towards the floor, lengthening through the spine. Spreading those toes, maybe lift the toes here. Consciously spread them wide. Then we'll release the hands and we'll do our morning finger painting. So just wiping our fingers side to side, spreading those imaginary colors. Shake out that head. Then we'll walk our hands forward. We'll walk our feet back into our downward dog. We'll pedal out those feet again, warming up those calves, opening up the arches of the feet. Shake out that head. And walk your hands just about a foot closer. So we'll take that left hand. This is a slightly different posture this morning. The left hand in front of you, so you're in a tripod position, but just ring the right wrist in one direction and twist it in the opposite direction. And then we'll just alternate hands. So the right hand comes in front of you. You can bend those knees, and we're just bringing that left wrist in one direction and then the other direction. And the hands will walk forward. And we'll find our way into that high plank. So shoulders over wrist creases. We lift those sits bones, and we'll take in slow motion mountain climbers. So we're just going to brush the shin parallel towards the right hand. More weight is over those hands. So the weight's not behind you. You're really engaging those shoulders and just slowly brushing the knee towards the hand in front of it. Warming up that calf, breathing. Last 5, 4, in slow motion here, engaging that core. 3, 2, and 1, we find our downward dog. Eyes towards the back of the mat. Shake out the head, lift through those armpits, find that external rotation of the shoulders. So the armpits are hollowed out. The head is super heavy. From this downward dog position, again, can you lift up your toes? We'll inhale back to high plank. So we have those mountain climbers again, very slowly. So notice where that weight is. warming up the body. Take your time. So just 1 foot on the floor as we reach the knee towards our hands. 5, 4, beautiful. 3, 2, on 1. We find our downward dog again. Eyes towards the back of the mat. Shake out that head. Now the right leg lifts. The knee bends. We stack those hips. We find those nice wide circles with our knee. So take your time. You have that tripod balance now with the leg in the center of your mat. Our chest is parallel to the floor. Please change direction with your knee if you haven't already. Let's finish this last revolution with our knee on this side. Now the right leg extends. Now from this tripod position again, just open up the ankle. We twist it in one direction. We twist it in the other direction. On an inhale, step the right foot to the outside of the right hand in that lizard position. We drop the left knee, untuck the toes. So walking those hands so they're directly underneath your shoulders. Beautiful. We melt into our hips, open up those collarbones, a beautiful lengthening through the spine. And from here, let's maybe explore the outer edge of that right foot. In that lizard position, still breathing. And we'll take that right foot back on the floor. Stay right here or bend the left knee. You can reach the right hand behind it. Warming up that left quadricep. Nice. And we'll, if you really took a grip on that leg, gently release it. We'll step back into downward dog. Your eyes are towards the back of the mat. We'll just pedal out those feet a couple of times. And we'll find the other side. So the left leg lifts. We bend the knee, stack the hips, and we start with those slow knee circles. So you're using all the finger pads on each hand, but rooting through the forefinger and thumb. Let's turn the open up the hips in the opposite direction, lubricating it. Slow knee circles. Those armpits are hollow, our head is heavy. Now we extend that left leg and find those ankle twists. So in that tripod position, building strength in our shoulders, warming up the back of the right leg. Then in our next movement, we step the left leg outside the left hand in a 45-degree angle for our lizard. And we drop the right knee. So readjust your hands as needed. Straightening through the elbows, the eyes of the elbows are turning in. Good morning, Hannah. And so we'll open up the outer edge of that right foot. Breathe here. Our heart is lifted. And then option to, you'll put that left foot back on the foot. Option to bend the right knee, so you can use it without the hand, or maybe take that left hand up and over. Draw that heel in. Warming up that right quadricep, that right hip flexor. Those left toes are spread wide. Gently release the leg. We'll step that left leg back into our downward dog. Eyes towards the back of the mat. Steady breathing. So we'll inhale to high plank again. Last round of those slow mountain climbers. So the shin is just an inch above the mat, alternating just 1 foot on the mat at a time. Beautiful. Last 5, 4, feeling it in our core. 3, 2, on 1. From high plank, we drop our knees and lower all the way down. Use that core strength and keeping your hands in line with your chest. Feel those toenails, hug those elbows in, moving from the back of our heart. We just find that baby cobra. Eyes straight ahead. Now forehead to the floor on the exhalation. 3 more like that. So moving with our breath, we slowly exhale down. 2 more, we lift. and we lower. This last one, we lift, eyes straight ahead, maybe float those hands off the mat. Gorgeous, forehead to the floor. We tuck our toes under, we press through our high plank. Gorgeous, eyes towards the back of the mat. Downward dog, the right leg lifts. We find warrior one. Ride that breath up. Now we'll take those hands behind the back. We've been warming up those shoulders. We find that halfway lift. Silver surfer, crown of the head on the inside of that right foot. So draw those arms away from the back body. Steer those hip points towards the back of the mat. Then we soften that right knee over the right ankle. Spread those toes wide, let the head be nice and loose. Please take one more breath here. We let that go. We slowly rise, take your time. Release your hands back through warrior one. We add on, opening into warrior two. The right hand lifts, we reverse. Gorgeous, now our hands to the floor. That right leg back. For just a beat, we find our way to high plank to low. Cobra or upward dog. Downward dog, eyes towards the back of the mat. Moving slowly, that left leg lifts. We find warrior one. We ride that breath all the way up. And we take those hands behind the back body, opposite thumb on top. We lift our heart and we slowly descend, finding that silver surfer or humble warrior. Crown of the head on the inside of the foot. And take those hands away from the back body. So we take this in stages. We spin our hip points towards the back of the mat, and then we soften that left knee over the left ankle. Working on that 90-degree bend, the head is super heavy. The feet are rooting you all the way down to the center of the earth. Please take one more breath in. We let that go, and we slowly rise. Take your time. Eyes straight ahead, we release the hands through warrior one. We open into warrior two. Reverse, take that left hand high. And then hands cycle to the mat. That left leg steps back for just a beat. We pause in our high plank and go to low. Cobra or up dog. We meet in downward dog, eyes towards the back of the mat. So always honoring our own yoga practice, listening to your body for signals, for clues. Please take one more breath in. We let that go completely. Look forward, bend those knees, walk or hop to the top of the mat. Halfway lift. We fold forward. And ride that breath all the way up. Take your time. Beautiful. And we'll take our hands to our heart center, slowly descend. Crown of the head towards those toes. Halfway lift. We step or jump those feet back from high plank to low. Modify if you need to, cobra or upward dog. Downward dog, eyes towards the back of the mat. Same thing, that right leg lifts. We take it into our warrior one. Same flow that we just did. Those hands come behind the back body. Our heart lifts. We descend into that humble warrior for one full breath in, one full breath out. We slowly rise back through that warrior one. We open into our warrior two. Pause here. Reverse on the inhale. Now we'll take the forearm on the thigh on the exhale, left hand high. So moving between those movements, we reverse and we descend, left hand up and over. 3 more on that side. Reverse your warrior, forearm on thigh, left arm up and over. Gorgeous, last 2, moving with our breath. And we'll take one more. So we go from warrior 2 to reverse. That forearm back on the thigh, left arm up and over. Back into warrior 2. your vinyasa. Left leg, or right leg back, high plank to low. A cobra or up dog. We'll meet in downward dog, eyes towards the back of the mat. Now the left leg lifts. We find our warrior one. Ride that breath up. And then the hands behind the back body, that opposite thumb on top. Our heart lifts. We engage our core as we descend into our humble warrior. Take those hands away from the back body. Find that balance here. Head is heavy. Just one full breath in. One full breath out. We find our way back through warrior one. Nice. And we open into warrior two. Please reverse the warrior on the inhale. We work our way back through warrior two. Forearm on the thigh, right arm up and over. So moving between those postures with your breath. From two, we open, pass through two, soften, right arm up and over. Three more. So take your time. Maybe find a little deeper crease in that left hip crease, that left knee tracking over the ankle. We're breathing, opening, finding our way back into two. Now that right arm extends. We'll take one more like that. From warrior two, we're moving with our breath. Gorgeous. We take the forearm on the thigh, right arm up and over. From warrior two, then your vinyasa. Take your time. You can skip those vinyasas at any time, meeting us in downward dog or child's pose if you wish. Breathing in and out through your nose. Shake out the head. Rooting the hands and feet. Please take one more breath in. We exhale the air completely, bend the knees, step or hop to the top of the mat. That halfway lift. We fold forward and we rise. Beautiful lines of energy. And we take the hands to heart center as we fold. Halfway lift, step or jump those feet back. High plank to low. Cobra or up dog. Downward dog, eyes towards the back of the mat. The right leg lifts. Adding on, we find that warrior one. Sip in that breath. Hands behind the back body. Gorgeous. Our heart lifts on the inhale. Crown of the head on the inside of the front foot. Draw those hands away from the back body. We stay here for one full breath in. One full breath out. We slowly release. Back through warrior one. Eyes straight ahead. We open into our warrior two. We reverse on the inhale. Back through warrior two. We'll take the forearm on the thigh, left arm up and over. So we'll add on. Coming back through warrior two, we'll straighten that right leg. Find your triangle. Reach the right hand forward. Soften it towards the ankle or the brick. Left hand up and over. Pause here. Imagine those lower ribs reaching towards the front of your mat. So we'll take that left hand on our left hip. Shift your eyes towards that right foot. We soften through that right knee, passing through our half moon, Ardha Chandrasana. So the left leg balances, we flex the foot. Maybe extend that left hand up towards the sky. Breathing here. We have 3 more breaths. So maybe play with bending that top knee. You can reach around for the ankle, or we just stay here for 2 more breaths. Please take one final inhale. We let that go. Then we'll step that back leg back through warrior two. Nice. Now your vinyasa. Gorgeous. Hands to the floor. Right leg back from high plank to low. A cobra or upward dog. We'll meet in downward dog. Eyes towards the back of the mat. Steady breathing here. Will you come to the other side? So the left leg lifts. We find our warrior one. From that foundation, we rise. We'll take those hands behind the back body, opposite thumb on top. Our heart lifts on the inhale. We descend, crown of the head on the inside of that front foot. Stay here for one breath in and one breath out. From that foundation, we rise back through warrior one, release the hands, eyes straight ahead. We blossom into warrior two. Drop into those hips. Please reverse. Those left ribs fan wide. We find our way back through warrior two. A quick forearm on the thigh, right arm up and over. Back to warrior two. Now we straighten that left leg. Trikonasana, triangle, other side. So the left hand reaches forward. Those bottom ribs are following that hand. We release the hand. The right hand reaches up towards the sky. So fan the fingers on that upper hand. All those fingers are spreading wide like a starfish. And before we move on, just close your eyes for a moment. We feel ourselves in space. We'll flutter those eyelids open, nice. We'll take that right hand on the right hip. Look towards that left foot. We take a slight bend in that left knee, and we find our way into Ardha Chandrasana. So the right leg elevates the height of our hips. We flex those right toes. And depending on your comfortability, comfortableness.
Comfort level.
Thank you, comfort level. You'll extend that right hand. Maybe take your gaze to that upper right thumb. We have 3 more breaths. So all kinds of options here. Maybe hovering that left hand off the floor, or play with bending that right knee. You can maybe find the ankle or just bend it in space. We have 2 more breaths here. Please take one more inhale. On an exhale, we step that right leg back through warrior two, drop into the posture, gorgeous. Now hands to the mat, left leg back, your vinyasa, high to low plank, cobra or upward dog. We'll meet in downward dog, eyes towards the back of the mat. Finding the stillness in the posture, hands and feet rooted, our toes turned in slightly. Shake out that head, lick your lips. Please take one more breath in. We let that go, bend the knees, be light as you jump or step to the top of the mat. Halfway lift, we fold forward and ride that breath all the way up. As we take our hands to heart center and fold forward. Halfway lift. Please step or jump those feet back, high to low plank. A cobra or up dog. Downward dog, eyes towards the back of the mat. Last time, the right leg lifts. We step it forward into that warrior one. As we ride that breath up, we'll take those hands behind the back body, really working on our shoulders this morning. Our heart lifts. We descend, crown of the head on the inside of the front foot. Draw your hands away from the back body, find the balance. We stay here for one full breath in, one full breath out. Root the feet as we lift our heart back through warrior one. We open into warrior two, gorgeous. We reverse. We take the forearm on the thigh, left arm up and over. We find our way back to warrior two. As we find our way into Trikonasana, bump the hips back, float the right fingers towards the top of the mat, into our triangle position. Now take that left hand on your left hip, look straight ahead. Half moon, Ardha Chandrasana. The right hand comes towards the floor, the left leg elevates. Maybe extend that left hand high, or finding that balance, floating that right hand off the floor. We find one more breath in. On an exhale, step that leg back through warrior two. Nice. And hands to the floor. Right leg back. Your vinyasa, high to low. Cobra or up dog. Downward dog. Eyes towards the back of the mat. Last side, the left leg lifts. We find it, step it forward into our warrior one. We ride that breath up. We take the hands behind the back body. Our heart lifts on the inhale. Spread those toes as you descend. Crown of the head on the inside of the left foot. Can you please draw your hands away from the back body? Soften through those toes. Left knee over the left ankle. We find that full breath in. That full breath out. As we slowly rise, take your time, release the hands. We open into warrior two. Please reverse. And back through warrior two, the forearm on the thigh, right arm up and over. Back into warrior two. Please straighten through that left leg for triangle. The hips bump back. The left fingers brush forward. Release the hand to the shin, your brick, maybe the big toe. The right hand reaches up towards the sky. So in this posture, let's just close our eyes for one full breath in. Notice how the body moves. We'll flutter those eyelids open. That right hand comes on our right hip. We shift our eye gaze towards that bottom foot, that left foot, as we push off into Ardha Chandrasana, half moon. So floating that right leg up towards the sky, we flex the toes towards the side of the mat. Maybe extending that right hand up towards the sky, or shifting your eye gaze towards that upper left thumb, or float that bottom hand off the mat. Try something different. Getting out of those habitual patterns, or being afraid to fall out of a posture. And we'll step that right leg towards the back of the mat through warrior two, your vinyasa, to our child's pose. So take your time, high to low, cobra or upward dog, downward dog, eyes towards the back of the mat, into our child's pose. First half of the class, we're just letting that all settle in. So I imagine that my mat is absorbing me, all those postures, slowing down that breath, connecting with that breath. And just take a moment here to appreciate you showing up on the mat. It's so easy to sleep in a little later or not give yourself this time. So just give yourself a little appreciation. Relax your jaw. And let's just take our hands behind the back body, reach for those feet, give them a little massage. Let that belly soften a little more, maybe melt your heart a little closer to the floor. We take one more breath here. Complete exhalation. We'll transition, we shift onto our hands and knees. Nice work, everyone. Tuck those toes under, lift those sits bones. Eyes towards the back of the mat. And we extend that right leg up towards the sky. Step it forward into our warrior two. Arms swing up and around. As we straighten through that right leg, we spin those toes towards the front. And this is where we started this morning. So now we're going to take those heels in, drop into those hips, and we'll interlace those hands behind our head. So we hollow out those armpits. We drop a little deeper into our hips. And we'll take that right elbow towards our right knee, back to center, left elbow towards left knee, back to center. Now just spin to the right, back through center, we spin to the left. Again, right elbow, right knee, left elbow, left knee, elbows wide as we spin to the right, to the left. A few more here. Opening up those sideways. That's for you, Stacy. We spin to the right, to the left. Two more. Breathing here. Maybe elevate those toes. Spin to the right, to the left, eyes level. Last one. Right elbow, right knee. Left elbow, left knee. We spin to the right, to the left. Let's just release our hands to our thighs. We'll straighten our legs for a moment, give them a little break. And let's descend again. Those knees over the toes, our hands now supported on our thighs. So we'll add our shoulders, right shoulder to left knee, back to center. Alternating, tall spine, our core is engaged. Again, just alternating, shoulder towards our knees, beautiful. We'll take 5 more, 4, last 3, 2, and 1. So again, we'll give those thighs a little break. We'll straighten them up and we'll descend right back again down where we are. Maybe go a little deeper, and we'll cross our hearts here as we go around the world. So we'll take the first one on each side with our eyes open. So right shoulder to right knee, our chest is parallel, our spine is long, left shoulder, left knee. We come back to center. I hope you're feeling it in your thighs. I am. Left shoulder, left knee, parallel chest. We float through space as we come back to home base. Now inviting you to close your eyes. So just feeling this posture, right shoulder to right knee. Our chest is parallel. We float back through home base. And we'll take the last side. Again, inviting you to keep those eyes soft or closed. Left shoulder to left knee. We float. Right shoulder, right knee. We come back to home. Nice, float those eyes open. Release your hands. Straighten through those legs. And just bring them together. We'll shake them out. Woo. And let's cycle through a quick vinyasa. Full breath in. We melt forward. We find that halfway lift. We step or jump those feet back, high to low plank, a cobra or upward dog. We'll meet in downward dog again. So the right leg lifts. We step it forward into our warrior 2. Dropping into that warrior 2. And now we'll straighten through those legs, spin the toes in, and we'll descend, tracking those fingers in line with our toes, but spin those left toes out into Skandasana. So the right foot flexes, we drop into those hips, our heart lifts, and maybe take one hand to your heart center. Work on that balance. And let's come to the other side. So now a deep bend in that right knee, the left foot flexes, we support or float one hand up, just exploring. And one more each side. Left knee bends, right foot flexes, heart lifts, balance a hand, maybe both hands. And we'll find that last side. So lingering, if any posture feels really good or you're working with an injury and need to explore a little more. Again, inviting you, this is your practice. We do what we can. Both hands maybe at your heart center. Nice, we'll release our hands. We'll straighten through both legs. Turn those toes in slightly. So we have that legs distance. We find that halfway lift. Crown of the head towards the floor. Elbows bend. So stay supported with the finger pads. You can reach for the outer edges of the feet. We did a lot of shoulder openers this morning, so you can take your hands behind your back body. Maybe draw the hands away. Few more breaths here. We'll take a final full inhale. Let that go completely. We'll release the hands to the floor. We find that halfway lift. Take your hands on your hips. Lift the core, come all the way up to standing. Nice, we'll heel toe those feet together. Samastitihi, hands at our heart center. Finding that stillness. From the crown of the head, taking that body scan, rooting through the feet. stacking the bones, softening something. Maybe it's your breath, maybe those knees, taking some of the stress out of the body as we blink our eyes awake, and we'll take a deep bend in that right knee. So finding the balance on that left foot, squeeze that knee into the chest. We stay here or use the peace fingers around the big toe. You can pause here, and an option to extend that leg. So from here, we open up our knee or our heel and inviting you to find your own balance. So maybe extending that left hand. You can keep the left hand on the hip, but always keeping those eyes eye level. So option to take your gaze over that opposite shoulder. Still breathing. Nice. And we'll draw the heel or the leg back to center. Releasing, if you reach for the toe, we'll release that leg. Arms reach up overhead. We flex. 5, 4, nice. 3, 2, on 1, we bend the knee and kick the leg back for Vera 3. Breathing here, find that extension, toes to the floor. We'll take one more. So we'll bend that knee, arms straight ahead, unhinge that leg, and we'll bend the knee. Last time, Vera 3. Find that balance, shoot the heart forward, and maybe taking flight. Beautiful. And we'll just draw that knee to our chest and lower it down. Samastitihi, equal standing pose. Spread the toes, feel the breath. And we'll blink those eyes awake and we'll come to the other side. So we start with the bent knee. Our heart is lifted. I think we have a new student. Hi, Judah. Good morning. So we bend that knee and we stay here supporting the knee, or find our big toe with the left hand. So you can stay here or explore reaching that heel forward. So always options, honoring where our body is in this moment. So taking the heel or knee out to the side. And what works best for your balance? You can hang on to a wall, extend that right hand, keep it supported on your hip. But we keep our eyes looking at one point straight ahead. Find the breath. One more full inhale here. Beautiful, let that go. We'll take that leg back to center and we'll extend those arms up ahead. So try not to lean back. Bend the left knee if you need to as we flex. 5, 4, we're moving from our core so strong. 3, 2, on 1, we bend that knee, shoot the leg behind you, Vera 3. So our heart pitches forward. You can reach those hands forward, soften those shoulders, maybe even extend them, but we're going to do it one more time. So from that position, use your core. We'll take a bent left knee. We'll just unhinge it for a moment, flex the toes. Beautiful, we bend the knee. Find Virabhadrasana 3, Warrior 3. So taking flight here. Upward dog in the chest. And we'll come back to center. That left knee bends. We lower the foot to the floor and take a vinyasa. Let's wipe that slate clean. A full breath in. Melt forward, Uttanasana. Halfway lift, step or jump those feet back, high to low plank, a cobra or upward dog, downward dog, eyes towards the back of the mat. As we drop our knees to the earth, we cross our ankles and roll onto our back bodies. It's time for our hug, so squeeze those knees in, wrap your arms around, finding alternate elbows, maybe hanging onto your wrist creases, or just the finger pads. So squeezing those knees in. Gently rock your forehead, or rock your head side to side.
We unhinge our jaw. Now extend the legs up towards the sky as we support our hips underneath our feet. So keeping the posture safe, we take a breath in here. On an exhale, lower the feet halfway down. On an inhale, they rise. So leading with our heels, we take those feet 2/3 of the way down. Pause and then breathe in, use that core. Now hovering those heels above the mat just a few inches, look towards those heels and maybe flex. 5, 4, without using your jaw. 3, 2, on 1, we lift those legs. Now split those feet hips distance apart, leading with our heels, straighten through the legs if you can. We take those legs halfway down, pause, use that core to lift. Now taking those heels 2/3 and legs 2/3 of the ways down, we breathe in. And now hovering those heels 2 inches above the floor, look at the toes, flex. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, we lift. Last round, those big toes touch, leading with our heels. We come halfway down. Pause there, keep the legs where they are. We lower them 2/3 of the way down. We're still breathing. Now heels above the earth, look at those toes. We pulse. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We lift and we squeeze those knees in. Squeezing those knees into your chest, again, gently rocking your head side to side. Lick your lips. And then drawing your forehead towards your knees, straight, lengthening, stretching out that neck. And head and shoulders back on the floor. Now our feet flat on the floor, hips distance apart, setting up for our bridge. So we'll take 2 bridges this morning, or full wheel. If you want to go straight into it, please do. We start by turning our palms up towards the sky. Sides of our feet are parallel to the mat. Rooting, using all of the feet in this posture. Root through the feet to lift those hip points and walk those shoulders underneath. Eyes are straight ahead, interlacing those fingers if that's part of your practice. And energetically, let's hug that imaginary brick between our knees. Feeling the breath, lift that front body a little higher. Lick your lips, relax the jaw, the root of the tongue. From here, let's root those feet and lift that body, front body, 1 more inch. And slowly release the hands, unwind that spine from upper back, middle back, lower back, and those knees can kiss. We'll walk those feet out to the side of the mat, both hands on the belly. Slow down the breath. Notice if you can feel the tingling sensations, the prana we've been moving throughout practice. Moving that stagnant energy around. So we'll flutter our eyelids open, open up those knees. 1 more bridge or wheel. I'm going to stick with bridge this morning. I took a digger running yesterday and landed on both elbows. So coming back to our bridge. Fingers are just brushing towards your heels. We turn those palms up towards the sky. Moving from our hip points, we lift. Use those feet, walk the shoulders underneath. Any modification you'd like, you could support underneath your hips. Alternate lifting up a leg. Or just finding the stillness in this posture. Notice everything that's connected to the floor. Root to lift it another inch. Squeeze that imaginary brick. For 3, 2, and on 1, unwind that spine from upper back, middle back, lower back, and now we'll take the soles of our feet together, Supta Baddha Konasana. So matching the toes up against one another, we'll take both hands on our heart center. whispering something we're grateful for into the center of that heart space. And again, just acknowledging that you're giving this time to yourself to be a little more present, to open up the body, and to connect with that breath. Please take one more inhale here. We let that go. We take our hands outside our knees as we squeeze those knees together, rock that back body 3 or 4 times. And it's our summer, so we'll find our way into our boat posture. So those calves, shins are either parallel, supported with that tall spine. Extend those arms forward, or we extend those legs. We're breathing here, eyes straight ahead, supporting as needed. 2 more breaths, all the way to the belly. We cross our ankles, hands by our hips, we lift. And 1 more, Navasana, supported, maybe extended. Halfway, our hybrid right here. Reach those hands forward, breathe to the belly. For 2 more breaths. See lots of feet in the mirrors, in the monitors. Gorgeous. We'll cross the ankles, hands by our hips. We lift, cycle through vinyasa, and we'll meet in downward dog. So extra push-ups if you wish. Skip the vinyasa. Now the right leg lifts. We find our pigeon, right knee towards our right thumb. Woo! The left leg extends. We untuck the toes and walk your hands forward. Forehead to the tops of your hands. So on this first side, inviting you to find that body scan from the crown of the head. My shoulders like to bunch up towards my ears, so we draw them away. That left hip, encouraging that left hip point a little closer to the floor. Can you feel the left thigh, maybe the left toenails, the left top of the foot? Two more breaths on this side. We take a final full inhale. Let that go. We lift our heart, weight into that right hip, into our double pigeon. So a couple of options here. My left knee on top of my right, or you can just unfurl that right leg and just take a cross-legged position, or fire log. So inviting that bottom foot parallel, left ankle on right knee. So whatever is working for you this morning, we find that tall spine, open up the collarbones, maybe walking your hands forward. Two more breaths here. Final full inhale. Let that go, lift the heart, unwrap the legs, and we'll meet in downward dog, optional vinyasa. Take your time, eyes towards the back of the mat, and we'll find the other side, Raja Kapotasana. The left leg lifts. We take the left knee towards the left thumb, right leg extends. And the more parallel that top leg is, the deeper the hip opener. So supported or releasing the forehead to the back of your hands. So with the left knee bent, let's start a body scan from the right toes up the body. Softening something, encouraging that right hip towards the floor, not hanging out in the left hip. Softening the shoulders. Relaxing the tongue, the skin on the forehead. Please take one more breath here. We let that one go, and we lift our heart as we take weight into that left hip now. Couple of options again. We've got the fire log, stacking the right knee on top of the left, or just crossing that leg and extending that left leg. So listening to your body, maybe reaching your heart forward. Please take one more breath here. We let that one go. And we'll come back to center, just unwrapping your legs until we find Baddha Konasana. So the soles of our feet together, we draw those heels in, a beautiful tall spine, open up those collarbones, zip up those toes, and then opening up those feet like a book as we reach our heart forward, breathing into those inner groins. And we'll inhale, we'll lift, we'll take our hands outside our knees, tuck those knees in, we'll extend those legs for our final forward fold. So releasing that extra skin. Take a full breath in as we reach our hands towards our toes or ankles, lengthening the spine, softening those knees as much as we need to. And we'll reach our heart forward, extend those arms, our back body slowly coming to the ground. 5, 4, 3, 2, and one final posture here. We'll just take our shins parallel to the floor, our knees bent. Support your hands on top of your thighs. We're going to energetically flex our feet, squeeze our hands, but squeeze your knees against your hand, engaging all those muscles. 5, keep squeezing. 4, 3, 2, let's release everything in 1 into our Shavasana. Take up a lot of space and let go. Please find that next incoming breath. And gently sigh it away. We dance our toes and fingers awake. And inviting you to stretch your arms up overhead. Stretch out through those toes as we'll hug our knees into our chest and find our way to either side of the mat. And slowly finding your way to a comfortable seated position or staying on your mat, allowing yourself to settle in for just another breath or two. And a quote this morning about letting go. Letting go does not mean erasing a memory or ignoring the past. It's when you are no longer reacting to the things that used to make you feel tense and releasing the energy attached to certain thoughts. It takes awareness, intentional action, practice, and time. Letting go is the act of getting to know yourself so deeply that all delusions fall away. So inviting you to bring your hands to your heart center, bowing your forehead to the tips of your fingers. And again, taking this last moment to just appreciate this time you carved out for yourself this morning. And let's seal everything in with one beautiful Om. So please sit in the inhalation. light within me honors and recognizes the light within all of you. Thank you so much for showing up this morning and letting go. Namaste. Thank you so much. I think, welcome, Judah, if that's your name, Judah.